What's up, folks? You notice I got a haircut. I hardly have any hair up here, so I just like buzz cut and do it myself. Save myself some cash. Now today I want to make another video on Frazetta, the amazing Frazetta. And it's this book called Legacy. It's a hardback book. And I think there are 3 books of his that I have. This one, and I have this one right over here called Icon. And one more, this one right here called Testament. You can probably still get them on eBay. They're about 50, 60 bucks, maybe more, because they might be out of print. But anyways, I want to talk more about, because I can never talk enough about Frazetta and his amazing artwork. And I hope you guys are doing great. My viewership is getting a little higher. I'm getting more subs, so to thank you guys. Okay, thank you. Now I want to talk about this piece here. This beautiful, wonderful painting. And this one is titled The Return of Jongor. Of course, I figured this is Jongor because I've never read the book. And this is a painting that's done on canvas, because I can see the, I'll show you. In the book it says oils on panel, but if you zoom in, let me zoom in for you. Anyone who works with oils will notice right here, all the little bumps right here, it's all canvas bumps. I'm going to read a little excerpt from the book, which is over here on the left side. And Frazetta says, "I'm not a comic book artist. I'm not a fantasy artist. I'm not happy with any label people want to stick on me except artist, period. People who dismiss my work because of the subject matter haven't looked at it. I'm not pretending that I'm a great painter. I don't think I am. I think there are plenty of people that paint better than I do. What I think I'll be remembered for is my imagination, for my sense of drama, and for not being afraid to take a chance." One of the things I want to point out to you, for those beginner artists, if you take a look at this color here, this brownish red color, you see it over here, you see it within the figure and within the hair, and you see it over here, and it was also here. As a matter of fact, this color that you see back here is a color wash. So what Frazetta did is he put this whole wash all over this canvas. So Frazetta worked with washes, which is what I do, which is a lot of artists actually do that. Some artists will just block out like this creature here and paint that in, and so forth. Frazetta, because he was under a timeline and he procrastinated and waited maybe a day or 2 before the deadline, he didn't have time for that. So he would do a quick wash. He'd go in there with a darker color to draw out the figure and the rocks, because if you can see here, there's some definite lines right here. So in other words, this is a wash, right? Then he went with a darker color. Let me zoom in here. He went with a darker color and to draw out details and to give us the illusion of a piece of rock. So all of these little lines here, he drew those in there. Some of them were probably done with a wash, because the wash sometimes, what's beautiful about a wash is that it gives you detail that you didn't think about, detail that's accidentally put in here. And what it does is it gives texture. It gives texture to your painting. And you can see the brush strokes here, this way and that way. And what he did, like I said, he outlined this rock pattern, And he obviously outlined all the figures and all the rocks. You can see there's line work here. Now he might have done the line work first. There's no videos, there's nothing showing us how he painted this. So he could have done the outline first of all the figures and the rocks and the birds, and done the wash over that. But in either case, you could do it that way, or you could do the wash first and then add the line work to bring the figures out. Let's look at the bird. The beautiful thing of a wash that a lot of artists maybe don't think about is that the wash gives us, like I said, it gives us texture. So this here, inside the bird, most of that is a wash, is the original wash that was on there on the canvas. And then what Frazetta does is goes in here and starts pulling out details by using a darker color to put shadow work, line work, and if he wants, he could put an additional color in here to give the body some depth. For example, this is lighter than this part. So you could have gone in here and just put a little darker color over here. You can see the outline here. It's pretty obvious where the outline is. But what he tries to do, he tries to paint. He keeps it here and there, but you don't want an obvious outline in all your artwork, especially if it's a painting, because the outline will make it look like a comic. And so that's what you see here is this wash. And the artist who doesn't know that might think, okay, Frazetta painted this bird and he added these colors in here and the reds and the darks. But in reality, that is the background wash. Frazetta works smart and he has to work fast. So he has to find ways to make it work. And then we have the other birds over here. Again, what he had to do here is silhouette the bird and go with a lighter color, maybe like a white beige color, and you put a wash over this so it looks lighter, and that gives it depth. It looks like these birds are further away. And take a look at this mountain here, or rock formation, and we see other birds back here, but they're not very well defined, and it doesn't matter. Look at it, they're very rough. This is rough, the legs are sort of missing, this one's flying that direction, and we have, this could be a wing, another wing over here, almost as if the birds are preening themselves or moving around, and this one's just standing there. But it's very rough, and this is the kind of stuff that Frazetta wanted to capture, because he talks about how he loved his thumbnail sketches and how they're full of life, and he wanted to capture that in his paintings, and he did that by having some of that sketchiness movement here. Obviously not everywhere, but in things that are moving, for example this bird, he had this lighter part in the wing, and this sort of like disappears into the background to give the bird a little bit of movement. If he was to go ahead and completely render this bird out, it would look very static. This is the background wash of the canvas. This is not. He added this dark color. And once he added a dark color, then he painted a light blue and white to make it look light colored. To pop these images out is he goes with a white, color white, and starts painting around to bring out the shape. Same thing with the birds, same thing with the figure. What he does is he works opaque here. You can see it now. So he went with white and he sort of faded out this way. You see right here, it's fuzzy. He might have done this as the last step and just made it fuzzy. Then he has this little white rock. Looks like he might have done a couple of washes. The only way I can think of is that he did this wash, and then to make this lighter, he did a lighter wash over here. Because this looks like it got mixed into this color right here. Again, he's working with oils, and oils stay wet longer than acrylics. So here you see a little fuzz. And in order to do this kind of work with oils, you have to work thinly. you have to thin down your oils. So that's how you get this look. It looks like he put oil and he wiped it away. And that's because he has to. If he were to make this painting with, if he put it on thick, there's no way he could do this in one night or 2 nights, because you have a really thick paint you have to get rid of. I worked with oils in the past, and if you paint too thick with oils, it gets really muddy and very difficult to work with. Thin out the paints. And what that does is it makes them dry a little quicker and makes your area workable. You're able to do more work on it, add more colors. And right here you can see where this white color mixed in with this darker color. So we have this beautiful rock formation here, and it's balanced off by this beautiful formation of birds on the right side. So this is a well-balanced painting. Zoom in on the character, because the character is beautifully done. And there's so much to talk about with Frazetta's work. You see his arm is going into the quiver, but you don't see fingers, you don't see how he's grabbing the arrow. Know that he's getting ready to put another arrow on his bow, because his bird's coming. So there's something for you to think about. You don't always have to show how everything is done in real life. So this is the tight part, and this is sort of the loose part, right here. The skin sort of just dangling down, light colored. When you do something light like that, it makes it loose, makes it light. If he was to make this black, it'd look really heavy. Now the bow itself, there's some dark in here to give it some weight, to give it some depth, like it actually exists, because it's not really moving, but it does have some light parts here and there, so it doesn't stay so static. And then we have this beautiful arm here with a little bit of blue and white. You can see the vein here. Now these are some of the nuances of Frazetta's awesome art. He didn't have to do that. He's giving us what we want. We want cool things happening. We want neat things happening. So he puts in some light blue here to pop up the vein, and also to contrast this backlighting here that's red with this bluish one over here. And we see a little bit here in the back, a little bit of blue light in there. But this is the part that makes Frazetta's art beautiful, because the average artist would paint all this maybe one solid color. They would not think about adding different colors in here, or they would not think about using the wash as part of this character's body. And the way you do that is you let the wash come through. He went in here with lighter colors to show us that this is the arm, this is the back. And I noticed Frazetta does that a lot in his paintings. For some reason, he likes to show off the calves of the characters. And it's nice because they're usually a little big, but I don't care because it looks good. And what this does is shows that the character lives in that world and is planted on the ground, and light's hitting his legs to show that he is three-dimensional. What's interesting to notice is this leg is completely in shadow. It almost looks like he's wearing some sort of biker shorts that are cut off right just below the knee. And the light is coming from the top. You would think that the lighting would hit here. You know, in reality it would. This leg would catch light right here. But again, Frazetta is about setting a mood. We have the female figure over here sort of collapsed, laying on her, almost on her stomach. And you notice the odd thing, let me zoom in into that. I call it odd because I don't do this in my work. But then again, maybe I should. He has this weird sort of greenish color here in her belly and her hip, and a little bit on the boob and the shoulder and the arms, and he carries it onto here, white green. Who knows why he did it, but it's a nice position of this knee and this leg. And again, her arms wrapped around his leg, very loosely done, and there's like, this looks like a little finger here, and he wants us to see the leg in this area. Her hair is very crudely done, again, thinking of looseness. But we have this rock here. This one catches light, but this one does not. Very little here. If we put these highlights here, it may take away from him. Beautiful thing about Frazetta's work is he chooses where to put highlights and where not to put highlights. And most people won't even question that. You know, your average person who looks at paintings, they'll just look at this whole thing and go, wow, that's so cool. And not ever really question the lighting. Frazetta is an amazing artist, and there's so much to learn from him. Now I'm always learning from his paintings and his artwork. Hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'm gonna try to do a whole section of the Frazetta reviews. I hope that you like this video, and I will see you next time.